Good afternoon. Good morning. I think it's afternoon. Oh my goodness. Good morning, Cochise County. Welcome to the Michael Zehr Show. Today is Friday, June 17th. And before I get to our special guest veteran today, I wanted to read a short little statement that I prepared before coming online. I wanted to share it with you just to let you know what I experienced this morning. So I wanted to take a moment to express my opinion. So before I start the show, I wanted to thank our wonderful and courageous Border Patrol, Cochise County Sheriff Department, along with law enforcement officers here in Cochise County for the great job that they do, protecting us from illegal immigrants, load car drivers, and the cartels. I saw another incident in front of Family Dollar this morning where they made another stop. And I want to thank them all for the great job that they do protecting us citizens here in Cochise County and keeping us safe. So again, to all of you law enforcement out there, thank you very, very much. Another thing I wanted to share with you is we lost a couple of really good citizens here in Cochise County, sadly. They were both very active in our community, and I just wanted to pay a little bit of respect to them. And their name is Chad Archer, and I met Chad at the Vet Fest. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
Couple weeks. It was a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Okay, and I met him, and then when I read about his passing from a motorcycle accident, I was just really very sad to hear that. So, to any and all those of you that know Chad Archer and to his family and friends, my deepest condolences on the loss of Chad. The other person that we lost here in Cochise County was Zach Bennett. Zach, most of you would probably know, was with Sierra Vista News Network and covered a lot of news events here within our county. And I know his grandfather is a Knight of Columbus, Larry Carter. So again, to all of his friends that knew Zach and to all of his family, again, I'd like to express my deepest and sincere condolences. And with all of that being said, now it's on with the show. So this morning, coming to you live here from the Warrior Healing Center in the Rising Eagle Studios, our guest is Eric Quimby, who he goes by Q. So Q, I want to again thank you so much for joining us this morning. So what I'd like to do first, start off with, is ask you, where's home originally?
Home originally is actually Sierra Vista. I was raised here most of my life.
Born here?
No, I was born in New York.
Born in New York, but raised in Sierra Vista?
I moved out here when I was 8 months old. My dad come back from Vietnam, and there I was.
Oh, so your dad was a Vietnam veteran then?
My dad was a Vietnam and a Korean War vet, and he was also a career soldier.
Wow, let's give him a shout out. What's his name?
Jack Quimby. He's passed.
Is he? Well, in his name, in his memory then. Hi, Kathy.
Hello.
Thank you.
So I grew up a military brat.
Okay. Wow. So you spent a lot of time here in Sierra Vista. How much time was that?
All but about 15 years of my life.
Wow. So where you were here then when you entered the military?
No, we was up in the Northwest. My parents moved up there to Washington. I lived up there for like 3 years.
So what was it that made you want to join or enlist in the military? And what year was it?
I went in the service in January of 1986, and I got out in October of 1995. I didn't make it a career, but I spent, some time in there, and it was just because that's just the thing that we need to do. We're supposed to do, and that's just the way that I felt about it. Growing up in the military and then seeing all my buddies and stuff, it's just one of the things that we need to do. We need to serve our country.
And a lot of family history there as well?
Absolutely.
That served the country?
Absolutely, yeah. My family's crazy. My sister did some research, and
let's hear it.
The family goes all the ways back to the sons of revolution. They were revolutionary soldiers on my dad's side, so they've served ever since the turn of the country.
So you had like a grandpa that served in like World War II?
My grandpa too. He was drafted, and he was in his mid-30s, and early 30s, and that was when they drafted the guys, and they just went and did their thing.
Wow.
So we go back a ways. My dad was drafted and went to Korea. I wasn't drafted because we were afforded that opportunity by our Vietnam vets, which I love you, brothers.
Right.
And you guys made things a lot better for us and previous before those guys.
Quite a few times on my show here that our Korean War veterans are kind of the ones that were forgotten. We don't really seem to talk too much about them right now. And Vietnam veterans seems to be the ones that we're losing a lot right now. And the fact that, they didn't get a very good welcome home just kind of left a sour taste in a lot of their mouths. So whenever I find out that a veteran has served in Vietnam, I always make sure to thank them, especially thank them for their service because of everything they went through.
Oh, absolutely. We got a program over at the American Legion, the Silver Rose program, and that's a way of us veterans thanking those guys because they didn't get thanked for nothing. And that's always the first weekend of October. Also trying to, everybody that's been affected by Agent Orange was over there.
Right.
Everybody was at one level or another, and that's a program that we have with the American Legion Legion Riders that we actually are able to thank the guys. And that's the first weekend of October, first Saturday, always at Tombstone.
Hey, good morning, Dad. My dad's watching. Said he loves your red shirt.
Morning, every Friday. I forgot one day, like it was weird because I forgot it. Then I had to make sure it was on our Poppy weekend, on Memorial Day weekend. I was like, oh man, I forgot it was Friday. And then but I had my Poppies at work, so I was good.
I try to wear a red shirt on Fridays, but sometimes I let it slip and wear this one and a couple of different ones. But it's always something to honor our service members for sure. So when you enlisted, where did you enlist at then? Where were you?
I enlisted in Washington State.
Okay, and then you went to basic training?
Went to Fort Leonard Wood for basic and AIT.
Okay.
And was stationed there. Was stationed at Fort Lewis, Washington. I was an engineer.
I was going to ask you, what was your MOS?
62 Echo, 62 everything.
Okay.
And it's funny because, you talked to, like, I got some friends that were MPs, and they're like, oh, God, you were one of them. But that's kind of what got me on my career path for my current work that I do, too. But, I was stationed at Lewis. Came down here, we did some work at the border when they first started putting the fence up.
Right.
We lost one of our soldiers there. Fuel truck overturned on 82, so we lost one of our brothers then. We went to Kuwait for about a month, and that's pretty much about it. I was in right before all the crazy stuff started happening, to protect our country when we geared back up.
So you're at basic and AIT at Fort Leonard Wood.
Right.
And then after that, where did you go? What was your next duty assignment?
Oh, my next duty assignment was actually at Fort Leonard Wood. I stayed there.
Okay. And then after that?
After that, we went to Kuwait, and then we came back.
Oh, you did go. So that was your next stop.
And then I went to Fort Lewis briefly. Then I was at Fort Hood.
So when you were in Kuwait, give us an idea, kind of like what your daily routine might have been.
We was just doing our thing out in the desert, just hauling equipment around.
Okay. Did you like it over there? I mean, geography and stuff
desert,
like that.
Just all desert, man. It was different.
Hot?
A little bit hot.
Oh.
But that's what we went over there and did that, and then also went to. They also sent us, when I was at Fort Lewis, they sent us up to do a fire too. The stuff the military used to do that don't do anymore.
Right.
We kind of did everything.
Now, when you were also in Kuwait, did you get to go anywhere or visit any? No, or you were just too busy working all the time?
We were too busy working. Tasks. We was there for a month and came back. That was it.
Okay.
Just before everything started breaking loose. And right when Bush bombed everybody, and we thought everything was going to be taken care of then, but it wasn't.
And what year was that about?
That was in 19.
Was it 91 or something like that?
It was 1991. Yes,
yeah.
January.
So, Kuwait, you said then you went to Fort Lewis, Washington.
Well, when I got back from there, I was at Fort Hood.
Fort Hood, that's right.
And went and was stationed there, but I did it in between at Fort Lewis, so I was attached to a unit up there.
With your MOS, were you always around armor units then?
we did a lot, dug a lot of holes for the old tread heads, and my shout out to them boys because they took care of us when we was out with them. Dug holes for them tanks, man, so they could go do their fighting.
Yeah. And after Fort Hood, you were there at what year were you there again?
Like 91 to something.
Did you have another duty station after that?
I was at Fort Lewis. And
Fort Lewis again?
I spent a year at Fort Lewis, yeah.
And then after Fort Lewis, where did you go? Was that it?
That was it, man. Got out.
That's where you were at? You got out of Fort Lewis?
Got out and started driving truck, man.
What was one of your favorite memories, or when you look back on your time of service to our country, what is one of the things that kind of stands out to you the most that you're kind of proud of or just fond memory of?
A lot of the stuff in the service is the brother and sisterhood. It was just really nice. We was really together back then, and I mean, one of the things that we did that we completely rebuilt a truck that came back from the desert, one of them old 920s, and that's what our squad did that, and we put it all back together.
Where were you at when you did that?
I was at Fort Hood.
At Fort Hood when you did that?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, what are some of the things that you like to do for recreation time when you were not, well, I know we're on active duty 24/7, but when you were on downtime, I guess I should say.
Well, when we were on downtime, did a lot of stuff with the kids in the community. We did a lot of, coached baseball, did a lot of that stuff, rode bikes, and just kind of just hung out, you know.
So were you married when you went into the military?
Yes.
You were? Okay. And are you still, what am I trying to say?
I'm still married, but not to that person.
Okay, yeah. And how many?
That person's long gone.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2 biological kids.
Okay.
And I have 2 step kids, and I got 2 grandkids, and I lost my son in 2008.
Oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that. If you want, let's give them a shout out here, just so they can kind of come in someday and maybe look back on it and see that you're here. Give them a shout out.
Well, my son that I lost, his name's Ryan. They called him Bubba. He was pretty well known here in town.
Okay.
And my other daughter's name is Shayna. Those are my biological kids. And then I got my other son, Shane, who's a Marine veteran.
A Marine, wow.
And he gives me shit all the time, so it's all... He always gives me a hard time. And then Leanne, who's my daughter.
Right.
They're like they're my kids.
Yeah, and grandkids.
2 grandkids got Ryan and Ryan.
Ryan and Ryan? Yeah. How old are they?
Ryan, actually, my grandson that lives here in Tucson, he's 15.
Wow, you don't look old enough to have a 15-year-old now.
I'll be 55 Saturday.
Okay. All right.
But and then I have my granddaughter. She'll be 10, and she lives up in Washington State with her mother.
Yeah. Do you get a chance to see him much? Or?
I see my grandson pretty often. The one that in Tucson, he pretty much we've raised him. I see the granddaughter here and there whenever they get a chance to get down here. They're pretty, life gets away.
The reason I ask those questions a lot is because, especially in the military, I find that family and friends, camaraderie, that closeness, that I don't know what other words to use, but that's something that's very important to us that we value. Our family history and being able to pass that stuff off to our kids and our grandkids. And that's one thing I love about doing this show, is because maybe 25, 30 years from now, if you and I are gone and grandkids say, hey, what did Grandpa used to do in the military? Then they can come on here and get a little idea if they forget, so it's kind of like a little bit of history. So what else would you like to share with us about why you were in the military? You were in the Army, right?
I was in the Army.
Okay, I forgot to ask that.
We built a lot of roads, did a lot of work with the treadheads a lot, man. Did a lot of stuff with them, and just regular equipment operator type of job, hauling dozers and loaders, and did a lot of that work. A lot of stuff like what you see around town. Back when I was in the service, we actually maintained all the roads and stuff up there on post,
Okay.
the dirt roads and such, going up to the ranges and what have you. And they don't do much of that anymore. I think a lot of that stuff's contracted out, and that stuff kind of made me sad when it changed.
Oh yeah.
Because we got a lot. We were all pretty much self-contained, so to speak.
No offense to any of you contractors out there, but I think that was one of the biggest things that hurt our military was putting all this stuff out to contractors.
No, now I'm on the other side of the coin on it in the civilian world. I drove truck, ran equipment for a while, and now I'm actually I'm out the right-of-way inspector for the city of Sierra Vista. So I kind of manage most of the projects, the eyes and ears for the engineers, so to speak. So the contractors guys, I'm not trying to slight you either, man. You know, we all got to kind of work together. That's kind of what got me to where I'm doing now.
But I think one of the things that I had was that when you're in the military and you had a civilian as a boss, and if you get the call and you have to go and you've got your life in harm's way, they're sitting back at home taking care of whatever while you're out there. That's kind of what I was talking about, was that little bit of a difference. Well, actually, it's a big difference.
Oh, it is, because you're at the beck and call of Uncle Sam, so to speak. You do what you got to do because that's what we're supposed to do. And for me, it was kind of bred in me growing up, so I understand what we're supposed to do.
So you were never stationed here at Fort Huachuca then?
No, not as an engineer. No,
right.
There's, you know how it is in the service. You've got one guy there's usually somebody from a job that's stationed at odd places, but not as what I did. There was no way I really would have been here.
So you were, I'm trying to remember, Fort Lewis when you got out?
Yeah.
Okay, for Fort Lewis, and you got out, and did you come directly to Sierra Vista, or where did you go?
No, what I did was when I got out, I drove truck, so I traveled around a little bit and went back out there, and I went back down to Texas because I had some family down there.
Okay.
And so I went there, but then I came back to Sierra Vista in '98, and I haven't left since.
What kind of truck were you driving? Was it like an 18-wheeler?
Yes, I drove all over the country.
Was it like a flatbed? Or
no, I hauled boxes. I hauled dry vans, and I pulled refrigerated.
And did you go all over the states, or just had a certain region?
No, I've been to every state within the continent while I was driving truck. So.
And it's got to be a very hard job being a truck driver, especially dealing with all the traffic. Then you got all the weather conditions, and then back then I'm sure they didn't have GPS, did they?
No, we had
so you had to
system, but read maps.
Right. People don't know how to read maps anymore, I don't think.
I did that with my grandson when he was little. I was like, when we'd go take him on trips, I'd be like, "Here, man, here's the map," and it really is. It's paid off now that he's older because he doesn't get to, they don't get to teach all that stuff, but he knows how to do it, which is kind of cool.
And I think it's a valuable skill to have because you become so reliable on technology, and if technology breaks down and it's not available, then what do you do? Right.
And driving truck was kind of like an easy transition from the military because it's not really I always say it's not really a job. It's more of a lifestyle.
Right. What was one of your favorite states that when you were driving and hauling around that you enjoyed, like scenery and because I know you don't get a chance with the job to get out and go visit and stuff. You're constantly going. So.
Well, I think it's kind of hard to say because the country's so beautiful.
Right.
I think one of my favorite places that always stands out is going through. I think it's called the Badlands up there in North and South Dakota.
I've never been up there.
But just driving by them, I think that was on Interstate 90 or Interstate 94. I might be saying it wrong, but that was one of the things that stuck out. I didn't get out and see it. I just got to see it from the window. And going through. Between Tennessee and North Carolina, that area on 40, when you just go through that gorge, it's pretty nice.
And have you ever noticed when you're driving 18-wheeler, because you're going through so many different cities and stuff, all the different traffic congestion and Phoenix right now is really horrible with construction and all that. And it's just like, so when you're driving, you don't even know what you're going to run into if you haven't been in there for a few months when they start this construction and stuff up.
That is true. You just got to kind of be patient. And when I did that, I'd stay out like 4 to 6 weeks at a time,
Uh-huh.
and then come home for a week. I know,
So that was what your rotation was? You'd be out 4 to 6 weeks?
That was my choice.
Right.
Yeah.
And how long did you drive truck for again?
I came off the road in 1999, and I haven't been back on since. So just a little bit after I got out of service. I did it for about 6 years.
What company did you drive for?
I drove for Harold Ives, and I drove for John Christner.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard of those.
Harold Ives is out of Little Rock, Arkansas. They got the cowboy hat and a rope on their.
Oh yeah, I've seen the symbol.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that was their logo, and then John Christner, they were just out of Sapulpa, Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, I know it has to be frustrating for drivers too because they had the weight scales every so often,
Yeah.
right? Where you had to stop, and that cuts into your time. Because truck driving, you're on a pretty vigorous schedule, right?
You are.
Yeah.
You pick up your load, and it's just your job to get it to a certain time. But what you do in between, that's kind of your deal.
Right. So you quit driving, and then you came back to Sierra Vista. And is this where your family was at that time?
My mom and dad were still alive at the time, and so I decided I need to come back and be around the rest of my family. One of my sisters was still here, and but everybody's passed on. I'm the last Quimby left here in town.
Oh, wow.
And I got my grandkids up in Tucson and stuff, but I'm the last one here in town. But I don't plan on leaving.
Ever.
No. My parents, everybody's buried up on post. My grandparents are down there at the Cochise Garden, so I've got,
Right.
They're past, but they're still here, so somebody's got to be here to.
I've sadly been up to the cemetery, the VA cemetery, and when I go up there, it's just so serene and peaceful, and they do such a great job taking care of the cemeteries up there. It's just they really do know how to take care and pay respect to our service members even after they've left this life.
That is true. I agree with you there. It's definitely surreal. And they got the old cemetery up on post too.
Yeah, that's a beautiful one up there.
And I know a couple people up in there, but yeah, the guys take care of it. They do a good job.
So when you're back in Sierra Vista, did your wife and kids then have to move here or were they already here too?
No, my son didn't. I didn't have custody of my son till he was like 10 years old, so he didn't quite get with me yet.
Okay.
So he moved in with me in 2001.
So then you're back in Sierra Vista.
Right.
And what was the first job that you had here in Sierra Vista?
Oh, I was still driving truck.
You were still driving truck when you were living here.
When I moved back here, I was still driving
and
truck.
Then when you quit doing that, what was your next job?
I went to work for the state of Arizona.
As
a equipment operator, truck driver, worked in a geotech field, which was stuff where you did soil sampling and stuff like that. So I traveled all over the state of Arizona with that job.
Oh, wow. And how long did you do that?
I did that for about 5 or 6 years, and then I ended up getting a job with the city of Sierra Vista. So
and again, you said earlier what you did for that. What, if you remind us again, what was that you do now?
I am the right-of-way inspector for the city of Sierra Vista.
And what is that?
I do all the quality assurance testing. We ensure that all the projects are built to specs. Do all the right-of-way work, which is all the utilities. Make sure those guys are I handle all the permits. Basically, I'm the eyes and ears for our engineers. And there's a lot of stuff that we do in the city of Sierra Vista that a lot of the residents don't understand, that we save a lot of money in this town by just doing a lot of our own testing.
I've been wondering what was going on because I saw a few times, and I don't know if this is your department or not, but I saw a few times where a guy is walking out in the middle of the intersection to mark off because I guess they're going to be doing a survey or something. And I'm thinking, Lord, that guy's really brave.
Yeah, some of them guys, they just do their thing. Right now, we're working on the two major projects, which is Charleston Road and Avenida Escuela.
And what's the idea behind Charleston Road right now?
It's a complete rebuild from Highway 90 to almost a treetop. That road, everything was really bad underneath there, and our engineers made a great call by pulling everything out.
Are they going to
So
be widening it, or
no, we're not widening. We're just
no?
rebuilding it because
Just
it was
rebuilding
in
it.
really bad shape. So we're going to be we're hoping to pave that, start working on that on Monday. We're hoping that's the plan. Because I got to come into work Monday, even though it's a holiday now Monday, but I still got to come into work. But they're going to try to get that knocked out next week. And by closing the road, it's very helpful for everybody on the projects. It's safer for us.
Right?
It's safer. We can get the stuff done, and when it's all said and done, the community will have a better product because you're able to do the whole thing at once, not in pieces.
It's just, I guess, taking it into consideration, because I've never done that job. But you're right, the safety part of it, and you have the people out there with the slow down signs and all
Yes.
that, but sometimes they don't necessarily slow down.
Yeah, that's the rough part about it.
So yeah, it is safer closing it like that. I did read on Facebook a few grumblings about it, but I'm like, come on, man, get over it. It's you're going to be better off for it in the end. So you're inconvenienced for 2 or 3 months or however long it takes.
Well, with that being closed, like when we had when we did Coronado a couple years ago, it cut the time in half for the inconvenience.
Right.
It just ended up being a good. It's a win-win for everybody. It's a little inconvenient sometimes, but yeah, it's kind of like being in the military, man. It's like you gotta you got give and take, and people are going to complain. They complained about us that serve, and they complain about working in construction. So you can't never win.
Can't please everybody, right?
No, but we just got to keep going on, man.
Yeah. And then the project behind Avenida Escuela, I know that's the road that runs behind Walmart.
Right.
And what's the plan with that? They're going to run that through behind Walmart to where?
They're connecting it to the park, and it's going to relieve a lot of the traffic out of the park, especially when they have big events there.
Okay.
That's been a long time in the planning, and the guys got done. As a matter of fact, they got all the curb and stuff poured, so they're going to try to get that open by August, and it's going to be real helpful to come in and out of the park because, as folks know here in the community, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on at that park now. I mean, they brought a lot of these youth softball and baseball type tournaments in there,
and soccer.
And soccer's really big, and the kids play. They have the football fields for the kids that play football there. So it's going to be a big help for that, and and the one major event that they have down there is 4th of July. It'll relieve a lot of the traffic, so they're not funneled into one area. It'd be a lot safer, and it's just something they've been trying to do for a long time. It was just, I think it was a matter of acquisition of land and stuff because they had to also build a box culvert to go across that wash. Right. So that was a major challenge.
I was always wondering, because I lived in Sierra Vista since '77. And I've seen so much undeveloped land in our area, and I'm wondering, what's the deal behind all that? Are they ever going to use it? Does he have any plans for that? I'd love to have somebody in to come in and talk with us about that someday, because the stretch I'm talking about is right there, like at Avenida Escuela, Martin Luther King Way, and it goes all the way down to like Coronado. Well, that whole blank.
A lot of the property in town is actually state land, believe it or not. It's kind of strange how the boundaries are. Uh-huh. So I know the area you're talking about, that's all state land in there.
Oh, wow.
So the city doesn't even own that at all. So it's, but yeah, you'd want one of them guys from the higher up than me.
Is that how it works, though? Is that, like, if that is state land, that the city can put in a bid or request to buy it, or does they just have to wait till the state puts it up for sale?
I have no idea.
You don't know?
I actually don't know. I mean, it's probably like that. I mean, but I really don't have any idea. I don't know how they work that. But I do know for a fact that it is state land. It's just like everybody complains about the area in front of Fry Boulevard. Well, doesn't even belong to the city. That's state highway.
Which one's that now?
In front of Fry's.
Oh, Fry's, yeah.
That's doesn't even belong to the city, but we get blamed for it being in bad shape. But that's not our road to maintain.
So the state maintains that.
The state maintains that. They maintain the 90, 92, and not, that's not us.
And I don't want to bore people with all of this stuff, but I do have to ask one last question on this thing. So, because you work for the city and you're doing this work, and maybe you can't answer it, but I'm just curious. So that you're talking boundaries, then you also have county. So what if you got a project that runs into the county? Then do you have to get with the county then to have them do their share or get their request? How does it get? Does you know how that work?
Depends. They'll do their share of the work, and we'll do our share of the work.
So you'll build up to point to your point.
Yeah,
stop.
And then we'll stop, and then they pick it up from there. Sometimes they'll work it. They call them intergovernment agreements, and they'll work together. Sometimes they'll do that.
Because I know Highway 90, I think, was one of those, right? That ran from because it goes from the 92, like Fry Boulevard, and it runs all the way out into the county and all the way out into the Bisbees. So a lot of road there to maintain.
But the highways all
state?
The state, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So what are some of the community activities and things that you're involved with here in Cochise County?
Well, the things that I used to be involved with was I did Little League baseball in Huachuca City. We did that for years, and then kind of turned it over to some other folks. Coached football, coached baseball. I officiated sports for a long time, high school, middle school, and now I'm really involved with our American Legion over in Tombstone, and we do a lot of stuff over at the Legion. We try to help out the community as best that we can. I'm also the director of the Legion Riders in Tombstone now. I take over officially on Sunday. This because we'll have a meeting on Sunday.
That's the top dog, right?
Yeah.
And that's a motorcycle club, right? Legion Riders?
Yeah, Legion Riders. We're a support group for the American Legion. We're one of the families because you've got 3 families in the American. You got the auxiliary. You got the Sons of the American Legion, and you also have the Legion Riders. Legion Riders are made up, and you have the Legionnaires. So the Legion Riders are made up of all the families.
Okay.
And then you have the Sons of the American Legion, which is made up of just what it says, Sons of the American Legion, and you're afforded the same benefits as a Legionnaire. And it's a great way to honor your father or your mother, whoever served, if you're a male. And same with the auxiliary, if you're married to a service member, or you have if you're a female and you're a daughter, you can join the auxiliary,
right? Which
is also a support group. I belong to the Sons of the American Legion, and I'm also a Legionnaire.
My dad belongs to the Sons.
And what a great way to honor your parents. And the American Legion does a lot of stuff. They actually are the reason that we have the VA.
Okay.
Big thing. Big stuff. Always supporting the 4 pillars, and that's Americanism, security, veterans, and youth. And I'm probably not saying them exactly the way that they are, but that's what our goal is, just like all the organizations that support vets.
But you're an American Legion member too, right?
I am a Legionnaire, and I am a Son, and they call it dual membership.
So you can have, that's what I didn't understand, because with the DAV at the convention last week, they said that if you're DAV, you can also be a DAV auxiliary member, which I didn't know that, because in my mind, I always thought once you belong to the DAV, why would you? But so that's why I find this stuff interesting, that you can be belong to the Legion, and you can also be a Son.
And what's nice about that is that that your annual membership fee, that's basically, I look at it like, hey, it's a donation because it goes to our vets,
right,
and their families, which is kind of cool, So why not do both and honor your father or your mother? Why not do that?
I'm going to have to get a hold of Ryan down here at the Post 52 then, because I belong to the Post 52, but now that I know I can do both with that too, I'll have to do that.
Absolutely.
That's a good suggestion.
It's kind of cool, man. I got to go to more meetings. But no, we got some events coming up. You know, we've also got the Silver Roses coming up, like I talked about before, that honors our
Yeah, tell us about that,
It
please.
honors our Vietnam vets. That honors the guys that were and gals that were affected by Agent Orange. That's always the first weekend of October. We do a ride. We honor those guys, and I promise you, if you show up at the event, it's usually around. I think it's at we start at 9 a.m. and there won't be a dry eye in that place. I can promise you that.
So tell us a little bit about how a ride works. Is there like a ceremony beforehand, and then is there like a certain destination you're going to, or how does that work?
What we do is we pick up all the fellows that are getting inducted that particular that month for that year, and whoever shows up, they will usually hop on a bike with somebody, or they can ride in their car or whatever, you know, your four-wheeler. And we all start at we start at the post there in Tombstone, and we head over to the high school, the new high school, and we'll kind of stage up there.
All right.
And we stage there, and then when it's time to go to town, the marshals will block the road off for us, and we all go to the south end of town where Ringo's is, and then we have a parade through town.
Oh, wow.
And the guys and the gals that are inducted, you know, then we do a ceremony for them. It's their day. It's our way as a veteran to say, hey, thanks, man, because you guys got shit on. I don't know if I can say that on here or not.
You can, yeah.
But yeah, you know, when they came back from Vietnam, because my dad told me the stories about when he come off the plane, and it's horrible. And he wasn't one of tens of thousands of guys that got treated the same way for just for, you know, because we serve and we defend to help those that can't help themselves, and we want to preserve democracy in our country because we don't need them coming over and invading us. So I mean, we totally get that.
Amen.
So I didn't mean to get off track there.
No, that's good. That's good.
What I was thinking. That's other reasons that why we're supposed to serve.
When you have that ride in October,
yes,
I would love for you to give us a flyer or give us the information so I can have Kathy put it down here on the events, which she's really good about doing. Thank you, Kathy. And I will be able to help get the word out for you on that.
I'll get all the information that we need to do, because the person that leads up the event, it's we call him Mouse. It's Ron Heilman, Jr. His dad suffers from Agent Orange. Papa Ron's who we call him. A lot of guys probably know who that person is, but he's the one that heads it up. And if you know anybody, whether they're living or past, we're just trying to get all the guys' names and gals' names down that was affected by Agent Orange. You need to get a copy of their DD-214 or showing that they served in Vietnam, and you got to also and what their stuff that they're affected by. You know what kind of things is wrong with them.
I'm a service officer at the DAV, and I had a couple come in yesterday, and he was a Vietnam veteran and hadn't filed a claim, and his wife had been pushing him. I got to say, thank you, spouses. Thank you, family members. Keep pushing those veterans, because a lot of veterans, for whatever reason, they do not want to go in. They have their own reasons. I mean, that when I say whatever reason, it's their personal reason. But that reason, you just have to keep on them and get them to get in there, because there are just so many benefits. We're not talking just money. We're talking there's medical benefits. There's all kinds of grants. And I mean, there's just so much available that they're missing out on if they don't apply.
No, that's 100% true. You know, I'm one of the guys that I didn't even go, because I had stuff messed up with me like everybody, like we all do, and I didn't start going back till about 5 years, or going till about 5 years ago. You know, you get kind of it's kind of disheartening sometimes the way that you're treated there, but it's getting better. It's gotten a lot better from when I first went there in, I don't know, man, like 95 or 96 when I got out, and they treated me bad. So I said, okay, the heck with you. And I just didn't go back until a few years ago.
See, right there, that's the issue right there. And so many other veterans feel that exact same way.
And it's unfortunately a normal feeling, but you're right. We got to go back and get taken care of because that's there for us. I mean, like I told my son, I told him, I said, you know what, you did your thing. We all did what we were told to do. And I've got him to, and he's in his 40s, and I got him to go back and get stuff checked out. It's like, you did what we did. We just did it, and you didn't ask to be heard or anything like that. It just happened, man. And so now I got him thinking the same way. It took a while. It took me quite a few years to get him to think that way. And I'm like, you did nothing wrong. None of us have done anything wrong.
And another important thing to remember: a lot of veterans will not go on sick call because they don't want to get that label, being the sick call sickie or whatever the term is now. But you just don't. So it's embedded in their mind, or that, oh well, I can't go because I don't have proof. I don't have medical documentation or whatever. But in some instances, if you have that DD 214 like you're talking about, and you served in country, let's take Agent Orange for a perfect example, because there's so many pre-assumption? Oh, I can't think of the word. There are conditions that you can have, and in those conditions for Agent Orange, I just can't remember the term.
There's a lot of them, like you're saying. Like, I mean, they were not just cancer, like Parkinson's,
ischemic heart disease.
There's all kinds of stuff that's associated with being exposed to that. And I just read this morning on our Legion newsletter that burn pits, man, they're recognizing that too.
Yes, they are. Presumptive, that's the word. Presumptive. So there's presumptives for Agent Orange. So when these veterans go in, if they can just show on their DD form 214 they were in country, that really, helps out even if they weren't on sick call.
Well, because everybody that went there, from what I know about through Ron, through Mouse, explaining stuff to me, is that everybody that went to Vietnam was exposed at one level or another of that stuff, that agent, that weed killer, as you call it, or whatever they wanted to call it, to clean out or to clear the brush. But everybody was exposed because it was all over that place. They even had a person that was loading the stuff on the airplanes in country, our country, that was exposed to it, and they proved it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think I heard too about a couple of people that were loading it or unloading it or whatever in Korea that got it. And
it's just some bad stuff, man. We, like I said, we do what we're supposed to do. We do what we're told to do, for the good of our country. But, you just do your thing. You didn't do anything wrong. Nothing wrong.
And I would tell you, if you're currently still on active duty and you're watching this, when you get out, make sure you get a full copy of your medical record, because you never know when you're going to need it. And if you have to go back to request for it in St. Louis, with the pandemic and everything, the way they're using it right now, it's probably going to take a year to get it, if not. Because I put in for to get my DD form 214 last July, and I just now got it. So that's how long it takes to get stuff over there. Okay, so going back to community activities. So the Legion Riders, what I know there's more that we do down there, right?
The Legion Riders, we've got our Legion posts like everybody else. We do the same thing, and you take care of your own community. Sierra Vista does their post, their 52, great post, and they also have the VFW. We do, Tombstone, it's only the Legion post. So we we just try to help the community best we can. One of the cool things that the Tombstone Post did, which I'm kind of proud of them that they were able to do it, was those AEDs, those defibrillators.
Right.
They the city of Tombstone, and the fire department said they didn't have the money for them, so the Legion actually bought like 4 of them and put them in town now. So if something happens, in town, they're there. The new technology stuff, it's kind of cool that they did that. But we've got, we do a lot of events too. We support the heck out of the Warrior Healing Center because they support us too. I mean, this is a great
Right.
place, man. If they got a little bit of everything in here.
I think I remember reading somewhere you guys did a fundraiser
Yeah,
earlier in the year or last year for the
yeah,
Warrior Healing
yeah.
Center.
We're doing
So
the same thing that Post 52 does. It's kind of cool because it's like all of our veteran organizations from in the county were kind of got the same goal, and we try to shift our funds here because I call it like a one-stop shop. It's not
right.
like I come here often, but I know it's here, and we know that we send people this direction for any of their needs that
Yes.
they have, and it's just we do our Bikers for Boots, and that's what this is one of our charities is right here at the Warrior Healing Center.
Do you have any other kind of community activities?
Yeah, we do we got the Silver Rose coming up in October. Last
Right.
year we had our first we had a toy run,
Okay.
and it was very successful. What we do with the toy run is it's for the JROTC. We raise money for that. That's going to be the third week of November, and the registration fee goes directly to the Tombstone ROTC program because those kids are us,
Right.
just a lot
Yep.
younger version of us. That money goes to help the kids that can't afford to be in the program because it's kind of like sports. You got to pay in the schools to belong to the program, and
You
that
do?
way, yes,
For ROTC now, you have to.
they got a small fee that they charge them to be in the
Oh,
program
wow.
at the school. So that money goes directly to their program, doesn't go to scholarships. It goes
Right.
to so the kids can
That's good to
participate,
know.
100% participation. And by the way, Tombstone is finished first and third nationally in shooting last year. For
Wow.
we suck
That's
at
great.
sports over there, but we're pretty damn good at stuff that matters. And
Like shooting.
so that money goes directly to that. And of obviously the toys, we collect the toys because our auxiliary does a toy giveaway, and that's at the auxiliary's Christmas party, and that's held like the second week of or second Saturday or Sunday of December.
Right.
So we gather up the toys. That goes directly to our auxiliary. That way, we're not asking everybody like, hey, begging for money for toys and stuff like that. We just decide to support it ourselves with the help of the folks that participate in the program. And this last year was our first year doing it, and we had so many toys that we ended up we had a whole truckload left that we didn't give away because if they're not given away that day, we got to figure out where they got to go. So we gave them to the we gave half of them to the Huachuca City Fire Department, and the other half went to Whetstone Fire Department, which are two other toy runs that go on in the county.
Right.
Because they do the Christmas in July, the
Well,
Nomadens do that, and then
yeah, I was going to say
yeah,
that there's just in our community, there's so many different things they do for in our community
right.
that help the children for the Christmas drive, and
God, yeah, it's like it's, and I think whatever they have left over, I think they give to somebody else too. But we have that coming up again in November, the third week of November. Last year we had it on Veterans Day weekend, and this year is our second year doing it. We moved it to the following weekend, so we'll start at Buddy's Bar. We'll take our registration. We'll have T-shirts this year. This is our second year doing it, and just look for the flyers and stuff for that coming up. And we'll ride over to Tombstone. We'll do a parade in town, and then we'll have an afternoon party at the post. But all that money goes right back to either to the ROTC or it goes to the children within Cochise County that need a toy, or they can come and do
right.
that. They take donations for the older kids. They take gift cards for them. It's $25 max on the gift cards because when you give them away, that needs to be fair. That's actually a post event that we do, and then we'll do our Bikers for Boots. We haven't set a date on it yet for this year, and that money is going to go to that money last year. Half of it went to the Warrior Healing Center, and the other half went to Champs.
Okay.
And that Champs is a program up there at the VA. Those aren't familiar with it. If you've got to stay in there, if you got to stay at the VA, it's the Sons of the American Legion are the ones that run that program. So if you have to go up there and you can't afford a hotel, they put you up because they built that new wing up there at the VA in Tucson, and that money goes for toiletries or whatever you need, and you can stay in the room. That's where that goes to.
Well, I go up to the Tucson VA quite a bit. What wing is that? Is that the one that's in 80 South or?
Yeah, when you come in off of 6, right off the interstate there.
Okay.
and I think it's 6th.
Yeah, 6th Avenue.
And
Yeah.
it's that first entrance to the left.
Yeah.
That's that new wing over there. That's the.
Oh, see, I don't usually go in that way.
Yeah.
I usually go in Ajo.
Yeah, I go in that way. I don't know. My wife said it's faster to go the other way, but I go that way. But yeah, it's that first those new buildings, that new building in there. And what's kind of cool about that is that, years ago you used to have to stay at the crappy hotel down the street off of by Park.
Right.
Because
It was
that's
Howard Johnson's at one time.
Yeah, because that's where my mom had to stay when my dad was up there and
Yeah.
stuff, and my sister when her husband was in there when they were staying over for extended visits. But now they have that, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, our post, we do a lot of stuff. We do bingo on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and that money goes right back to the community for different things that they do at the post. At our post, we do the fire department, senior center, do the food bank there in town. And but it's kind of cool because the bingo is a 70-30 split. So 70% of it goes to the people that play.
Okay.
And 30% stays at the post. That's it. It's all volunteer staff doing that. I'm pretty involved in that now.
Do you actually do bingo yourself?
I don't play, but I
I mean volunteer to work it.
Yeah, sometimes I call. Most times I call.
Oh, you're a caller.
But it's just the computer generates it,
right?
And then I'll sell tickets too. We got a group of us that pretty much like to do that. Always looking for help. Always looking for people. Sunday's usually pretty busy. Saturday or Friday night, like tonight, they do it from 6 to 8. And then on Saturday and Sundays, it's 3 to 5. And that's one of our fundraisers that we do all the time. It's an ongoing thing unless we have a major event where we can't do it.
Oh, okay. That's very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Is there any other organizations or any other type of community activities that you do within our area?
I belong to the Clampers, which is a historical club, and it's a West Coast thing, and we do a lot of historical plaquing. If you have it, like it's an old mining office or something, just historical preservation within the state.
Oh, wow!
So that's a club that I belong to too. It's called E Clampus Vitus.
You could probably come in and give us an hour talk on that, huh?
Yeah, I'm just into history, man. I mean, things that you want to preserve stuff.
I love the Old West
for your kids. This is the old miners put it together. They were guys that weren't allowed to be masons or odd.
Okay, well, I'm not quite sure what happened, but it popped up and it said streaming quality, and we lost our internet there for a minute, but I was able to pop right back on. So just to finish up the show here real quick, did you have any parting words or any kind of wisdom you'd like to share with anybody out there today?
Well, we do what we do because we're supposed to do it. And one of the things my own platoon sergeant always told me that, and it always sticks in my head even to this day, and it's, there's no shame in my game, lead by example, do what you're supposed to do and support your brothers and sisters, thank your veterans because the other guys weren't thanked, and know where we came from.
And any last shout outs, any organizations or any people or anything that you'd like to?
Shout out to all my folks at 24. Oh, and tonight, if you are in Sierra Vista at 5 o'clock, the Legion Riders in Sierra Vista, it's their bike night. Come there and have a good dinner at 5. They usually sell out, and they got some good meals and good fellowship in there.
What's the meal?
I don't know what they're serving tonight.
No? Okay.
It's kind of a surprise, but everything that they do is number one. They do a good job over there at 52, and that's not my post, but I still support.
Right. Legion is Legion, right? I mean,
Right.
if you're going out to another city, you know that there's always a place you can call home, even if you haven't been there.
And this weekend, if you're in the morning at the Landmark, the Christian Motorcycle Association, they're going to have a breakfast there on Saturday morning. And then on Saturday morning also, if you're in Bisbee, post 16 that's the Legion post there on 92, they're going to have a breakfast also, and that meal is from 8:30 to 10, I believe.
Wow.
So there's a bunch of places to support all your organizations that you can do the best you can.
Well, that's what we want to do. We want to help support people that need the assistance here in our community. That's what it's about. So, Q, thank you so very much for joining us. I appreciate it. Yes. You can hang around. Hopefully I'll try to narrow it down to a couple minutes for the events here. So I do have some of the events that are coming up on this coming week here at the Warrior Healing Center. So today, starting at 1600 hours, we have the Gratitude Drum Circle, which will be playing for our pleasure. They're really good too. They go out there and pound away some really good soothing beats and stuff like that. I highly recommend if you're not doing anything, come on down here again at 1600 hours, and they usually just play right out front in the shade out there. It's really nice. American Legion Riders right here. We have at 1700 hours tonight the American Legion Riders dinner and bike night, and that's going to be at American Legion Post 52, and the cost for that is $10. We also have the Bello Bets group ride. Now they have changed their time again. It used to be at 10, then it went to 9, but with the heat and heating up, Bello Bets is now riding at 0800 hours, and they're meeting at Pueblo del Sol Country Club. They ride every Saturday and every Wednesday. We have the weekly PMCS support group that will be meeting here tomorrow starting at 0930. So come on in and check that. Or wait, 0930 weekly PMS. So if you're looking for a support group, come in and give them a check. Check them out. Tomorrow at 1100 hours is the Sierra Vista Dad Olympics down at the mall at Sierra Vista. So if you are the greatest dad, enter your dad with your kids, strut your stuff. There's going to be retro video game challenge, Father's Day weekend car show, and I think I remember reading something about maybe a beer tent. I should have asked Kathy about that because, but there's going to be a lot going on this Saturday at the mall. Not only the Sierra Vista Dad Olympics, but I think there's another event going on there too. So it's going to be good turnout. Sunday, 6/19. Happy Father's Day to all of you dads out there. Then we have Tuesday, June 21st, starting at 0900 to 1400 hours. There's going to be a blood drive at the American Legion Post 52. So if you would like to donate blood for an appointment, you need to go to www.redcrossblood.org. Then Tuesday, 6/21 at 1300 hours to 1800 hours is a blood drive at American Legion Post 24. And same thing, you have to go to www.redcrossblood.org. So those are the notes that I have for today for some of the events that are coming on. And there's a lot more that goes on in the center. I mean, this place is always got something going on.